Imagine being a single mother of two twin girls with many medical needs, the only parent who has fought for them, advocated for them, and showed up to every appointment and sleepless night. Then, at just 6 years old, those twins are ripped from your arms and handed to a father who didn't even enter their lives until they were 5 years old. A known alcoholic who just survived a liver transplant and met his new wife in the rehab facility they both attended.
And still, Judge Tiffany Yar decides your vulnerable daughters are better off with him, stripping them from the safety and stability you've given them since birth. This isn't a one-off mistake. It's a corrupt family court machine that punishes protective parents and rewards dangerous parents while our children pay the price.
We are pulling back the curtain on what this system did to Cindy Adams and her now 7-year-old twins, and why they must be brought home.
So we got a case going on, guys, that is really, really crazy in Kentucky. And this Kentucky case is this judge that is out of her mind, it looks like. And what happened over the past 48 hours is that there's real hard evidence. There's this photographs of abuse of these two beautiful young twins that were awarded to the father. And they were awarded to the father, I believe, and I'm working it up, my theory right now is by crooked means. That we have, well, the father is now related to people who are connected to the courts, connected to the judges, connected to the money and everything else, and everything changed. Everything was fine when the kids were with the mom, and now they're with the dad, and there are allegations and actually evidence of serious abuse and bruises and everything else. And these are children that especially need to be taken care of, and they're not being taken care of. The father was out of the picture for 5 years, and this is a really serious case that we're looking at. Taking the kids from a protective parent, one that knows what they're doing, one that can manage the care, one that and you hand them over to the wolves. What does this guy know? What track record does he have? And how can a judge justify that as in the best interest of the child in any way, shape, or form? And on top of that, the harebrained decision that they made, be prejudiced against the protective mother because of her First Amendment rights, her First Amendment speech, her desire to create a permanent public record of governmental proceedings that are already public. She's not disclosing anything. She's not leaking state secrets. So the judge already said that everybody can see this. You go onto the court record in Kentucky, you can see this. Oh, but we don't like the fact that you're going together. It's dangerous that people get together. Well, guess what? That's called freedom of association. That's part of your First Amendment right. That's what, that's what the King of England said. That's what King George said. I can't stand these colonists getting together and talking bad about it. That's why we have a First Amendment. So people of a like mind can get together and talk about all the bullshit in plain English that the government says. The only recourse we have is in the media and in the court of public opinion. So let everybody know what this judge is doing. And hopefully we can do it now as soon as possible. In a way that people can understand, and maybe it will affect her decision making and make her act like somebody who's wearing a black robe. But there is little to no recourse in the courts of law because of judicial immunity. And that judicial immunity extends to guardians ad litem. That extends to court-appointed personnel. They are immune in most states. You cannot sue them even if they screw up or even if they basically get caught taking a bribe. Designer child trafficking, which is what happens in the family court every single day. I don't know, because they didn't respond to me, the CNC board, whether or not they do support designer child trafficking. But by their silence, and their charges against Dave Weigel, I can only think that they do support designer child trafficking. And I because when you're attacking someone who fights what the courts are doing, removing children from protective parents, removing children from a safe place and putting them with abusers, putting them with people who have no business with the children, and doing it because of money, doing it because of connections, doing it not because of the best interest of the child. That's the definition of designer child trafficking. And when you are in league with that, I think you're on the wrong side of everything. So that's what we got going on here in this Kentucky case.
Now let's talk about the man Judge Tiffany Yar decided was the better parent for these medically fragile twins, their biological father, Josh Anderson. For the first 5 years of the girls' lives, Josh was effectively a stranger. He was not present for their day-to-day care. their emergencies, or their milestones. He struggled with alcoholism so severe that he required a liver transplant, and he met his current wife in rehab, a program neither of them even completed.
Unlike Cindy, who documented and attended more than 800 medical and therapy appointments and became highly trained in her daughter's complex care, Josh had never consistently shown up in exam room specialist consults or hospitals to learn how to care for his own special needs children. Yet somehow, in a case where there was no finding that Cindy abused or neglected her daughters, Judge Tiffany Yar still decided that these vulnerable twins were better off ripped from the only parent who truly knew how to keep them alive and stable, and handed over to an untrained, formerly absent father with insider ties to the very system judging him. If that sounds upside down, that's because it is, and it tells you everything about how broken this court has become. In the quiet hum of hospital machines, a mother's world changed forever. Two tiny twin girls entered life much too soon, fragile, fighting and in need of constant care. While most new parents shared sleepless nights together, she faced this battle alone. Their father walked away, leaving her to transform her home into a mini hospital full of oxygen tanks, feeding tubes and love so fierce, it kept two little hearts beating.
For 5 long years, she fought every day to keep her daughters alive and thriving. But when the girls finally began to grow stronger, the man who had vanished returned not to help, but to take them. Despite his absence, his alcoholism, and his complete lack of training to meet their medical needs, the family court gave him custody. This is her story, a mother's relentless fight for her children, and the system that failed them all.
I'm tired of this. My laws have been violated. My due process, 5th Amendment, 14th Amendment, 1st Amendment, the civil rule, I think it's like the Circuit Civil Rule 58, where something was said but never put in writing, it's held accountable. I have been held in contempt for 45 days. The other party has broken mediation agreements, agreed orders, court orders, legal contracts, PC contracts. I just stopped doing the sessions and sued me for custody on my 40th birthday after being absent for 5 years. Our daughters are 6 years old. The law where I live says if you have a change in custody, so I had sole custody, and when he filed I agreed to joint custody as long as we had a PC because I wanted a third party involved. 4 months later, I got sued for custody again. I'm told now we'll have court again, probably in a few months. We worked with a woman for 4 months together, and it said he needed a psych eval. No one questioned my mental stability, yet we now have an FOC and a gal, and the FOC is determined for me to have the psyche mental evaluation thing, and not him. So I proposed we both have it. I don't know what will happen with that. But I'm to the point where I want my children, they learn by what they see, to not be afraid to stand up and speak out when something isn't right. I'm tired all the time. I'm exhausted. Both parents' time, finances, energy has been taken from my girls. I live studying the law. Whoever has a law degree, like, this stuff is so difficult to learn. I am on y'all's page often trying to learn all of this, but it's just not something that comes easy for me. I would be so grateful for court watchers, because I think if someone saw what was happening in that courtroom, that they would really, really understand that it's not okay. These people just have so much power. I let one attorney go and brought in another. They're all into the case. I want my story heard. I want my children to see that I stand up for them. I also want accountability for the people doing this to me, because it's hurting my children. It is hurting them so much that it's indescribable. I have no issues with shared custody, 50-50. I just don't want them taken. And it hurts that someone would try, knowing that there's no valid reason to do that if they have a healthy, happy home.